connecting to the earth and connecting to cultural ways was an important part of the life of a Yurok elder we met along the journey.
I remember thinking that my little part of the world was really the only one that existed. My father was quite a bit older than my mother. He was almost 30 years older than her, and his birth date was 1892. So I grew up with an older father that was more like a great-grandfather than a father, but he was dedicated and loving, and he taught me a lot about growing vegetables, and that was what we did. We grew a lot of vegetables, and so I inherited the land from him, and that was passed down from his grandfather and grandmother. Just to respect the earth and be thankful for when you can go hunting or fishing, and to take time and thank that deer or that fish for giving their lives for you, for your family to eat. I know that there's the Creator. He's there, and I believe that He knows everything, about our past, about what our cultures have gone through, how sometimes hate has divided us. But I think that deep down inside, we're one universal soul. I feel really at peace when I can walk through a forest or along the river or just along the ocean, along the banks. It's something that I've always done. I've always had that opportunity, and I know there's a lot of people in the world that don't. But it's just a hideaway for me. There's a lot of things in nature we can't explain, and maybe they aren't meant to be explained. But I think that God gave them to us for a reason. And I think maybe we've misused them, and some of them are gone and dying. Like our trees, our fish, our water. It's being polluted everywhere, not just here. It makes me sad, but I've always felt a connection.
What would you say was the most difficult experiences in your life, and what gave you the strength to overcome those difficulties?
I think the hardest thing in my life was losing my dad in 1976, and probably I just tried to think of the things that he tried to instill in me as a child, and I tried to, fashion my life after that. And then the second hardest thing was when I lost my 14-month-old grandson. And that was just drawing from the strength, knowing that he was going to be with, my father in paradise or heaven, whatever you want to believe it is. But I know that they're together, and that's what helped me, knowing that, even though they weren't here with me, we're here in spirit. Probably my children. Just knowing that they're enrolled members of the Yurok tribe, and the accomplishments that the tribe has carried out over the years, that is a great accomplishment. I didn't think we'd ever have it. Well, let's see, I think it was in the late 1980s. They started organizing the federally recognized portion. And so with all the meetings we began having, I began realizing that we were a large numbered tribe. And we voted on it, and a lot of people decided that they wanted to be members of the tribe, and that opened up all kinds of opportunities, educational grants to enhance our river and our homeland, getting that our homelands identified, where we were from. And it all started with that, it was called the Jesse Short case, and it went on for years. And we were finally paid off in, I think, 1995. We received a $26,000 settlement, each one of us. but it was kind of a disappointment to some people. It was a handful of people, after all, that started this case, and it went on for over 50 years. And by the time it dwindled down to us, it was just, a lot of the older people were really kind of angry about it. But the people my age were pretty happy about it because it was a big step. But money doesn't last long, and it doesn't go very far. So what we really had was each other. On the contrary, I've come to find out that a lot of the things that I thought were important at one time have become even more important.
What are those things?
Like our culture that is dying away. And I mean, with each elder that dies, another part of it dies. And I believe that probably is right for everyone in the world. We can't go back, we can't take their place. And even the language has lost something. I'll hear someone talking our language and it doesn't sound anything like my dad used to talk. So we've lost that. We've lost it. We've lost our spiritualness. We've lost what we once thought was the purpose of our dances. I think that drugs played a big part, and alcohol. And I think I still fight against that. And not only, you know, as a personal demon, but as that affects the whole tribe. And I don't know, I wish that more people with influential interests in the tribe would step up, and maybe those problems could be abolished here on this reservation. Well, it's some piece of advice that my dad gave me one time when I was about 9. There was an argument or something going on, and I confronted him about it, and he said, the most important thing is that you treat people the way you want to be treated. And as a little kid, you know, it just kind of went over the top of my head. I didn't really think about it, but as I got older, I saw a lot of those disagreements, you know, and I always thought about that. And I, you know, try and tell my kids that, and grandkids, that, you know, it's not so important. The fight sometimes isn't as important. Sometimes you have to give a little bit, you know, sometimes you have to forget. And that's hard. It's really hard to forget and go on with what is important.
Believe we can make it through. Believe there's nothing more to do. The angels take the form of you.